6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, along with meteorologist Lauren Linehan, Tania Michelle, the entire First Alert Weather team. We're going to be checking in with Fred coming up. We have a fun story regarding Groundhog Day. Lots to get into, but first off, let's check out the next big thing as we go to our First Alert Weather headlines. And you'll see here, looks like more showers tonight. Here it comes again, and some cold weather. The one thing today, the temperature is really taking a tumble across the area, and we'll see a very little change through tonight and tomorrow. So some colder weather on the way. Rain tomorrow throughout the day. Some rumbles of thunder possible, and the rain's going to move out late tomorrow night, mainly during the early morning on Friday. In fact, you wake up Friday, a lot of that rain's going to be staying so long. Moving on out of here, watching the temperatures closely right now. Notice we actually dropped a degree here at Hamilton. We're at 35. It's close. That freezing line's not far away, but it looks like we're going to hold here for most of the night. We're still seeing some 50s to the far southeast, but I think we're going to see some of these 40s even for areas here like Anniston, Ashland during the overnight. Here's that wet weather, and notice to the north, this is Franklin County. We're seeing some winter weather advisories around Lauderdale County, far northwest Alabama. That's a little bit of a wintry mix showing up right there. So if you are traveling north tonight, it's close. Be careful out there, especially bridges, overpasses. Take it slow. Marion County, Winston County, for our area, it looks like all rain. Wet roads. You still want to take it easy out there with this weather. There's going to be some lower visibilities as the night goes on, and then it looks like, again, you can see the rain. Here it is starting to increase across West Alabama, and this is that final wave, and it is going to be with us for a while. Right on through the day tomorrow, it is going to be very gloomy. I know we've been singing the Seattle Blues this week, and that's going to be the story here through tomorrow. Looking at showers across Shelby County, back in towards Calera. You can see a little bit of wet weather. Ice storm warnings still in effect. We were talking about this on Monday. Still seeing ice storm warnings. Memphis back in across parts of Arkansas, and those areas dealing with another round of that ice just coating everything. Power lines, tree limbs, car tops, and that glaze is causing some big issues. Starting to see some power outage reports. That's one thing we have access to here. If we go to our power outage index or some of the numbers based on county, you can see back in East Texas and stretching back in areas south of Dallas. Look at this. Look around the Austin area. County-based numbers, 170,000 customers without power. Seeing around Tyler, Texas, 36,000, but that really jumped up from the last time we were looking at some of those numbers earlier today, but something you certainly don't want to see, especially with the cold weather that's been impacting that part of the country as well. Visibility is a little bit improved at this time compared to this time last night. We had the fog around, but it's cold, and again, that's all about to go downhill. We're going to have those showers returning later on tonight. Rain chances going up. Look at 10 p.m. You can see, watch that number just steadily rises, and then tomorrow morning a 90% chance of rain. Groundhog Day. The good thing is our Groundhog Day tomorrow won't set in repeat mode. We're going to have some sunshine coming back later on this week. But speaking of Groundhog Day, you know, the weather's so wild here in Alabama, we actually need two furry critters. Not only a groundhog, but also a guy by the name of Sand Mountain Sam. Want to head over to meteorologist Lauren Linehan to tell us all about it.
Hey, Wes, yeah, Groundhog Day is tomorrow, February 2nd, and thousands will make the trip in the pilgrimage to a small town in Pennsylvania in hopes of seeing a sign that winter is nearly over. So, of course, we have our own traditions close to home, but the tradition of whether a groundhog named Punxsutawney Phil sees his shadow when he emerges from hibernation goes back to at least 1841. According to legend, if the groundhog sees his shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter, and if there's no shadow, many people believe it's a sign that spring is just around the corner. Sounds definitely scientifically accurate. While there are doubts that a hibernating woodchuck, there you go, can be a good meteorologist, it is a fun annual tradition that has boosted tourism. Punxsutawney's population, the city, has only 6,000, swells to as many as 30,000 people for the annual celebration. Phil will emerge just after sunrise tomorrow to make his prediction. And of course, here in Alabama, as Wes was saying, we have our own special way of celebrating Groundhog's Day. Mr. Absolutely Alabama himself, aka meteorologist Fred Hunter, talks with Bama Bucks up in Etowah County to meet their own meteorologically savvy rodent, Sand Mountain Sam.
Here today with an old friend of ours. I'm not going to tell you exactly how long we've known one another. I'm afraid it might date us a little bit, Terry. But Terry Turks is with Bama Bucks up at Sardis City in Etowah County, right there close to the county line. And Terry's, our first visit, Terry, was when you and your dad had just started Bama Bucks as a deer farm and deer preserve. Take us just a little bit through that. Tell us a little bit of the history of Bama Bucks.
Okay, Fred, that was probably back about 24 years ago, I think, the first time I met you, so I am dating us, I think. But you come out, you did a story on the deer farm. We talked about it. You've made another visit with us since then. We've added a restaurant. So we have a wild game restaurant here at the facility now. And it's like 70% domestic foods, 30% wild game. We have a lot of these animals that are roaming on the grounds here. So when you come out, you can sit by the window, you can look out, you can see the bison, you can see the elk. We've got bear, we got ostrich, we got camels, kangaroos, and all sorts of animals. It's it's a little something for everybody to come, young and old.
Well, and I think I remember one of the great lines that you had. Where else in Alabama can you go and listen to an elk bugle? You would say, almost think you were in Montana, and now you've added something extra. Now we know up in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, they have Punxsutawney Phil, that is the groundhog there, and that predicts this early spring or not an early spring. But we've put a little Alabama spin on that. Tell us who's with you there, and introduce us to Sam Mountain Sam and his friends.
Okay, this is Savannah that's standing here with me. This is Sand Mountain Sam. She is also a she Sam, not a he Sam. She's 9 months old. It's a Virginia possum, born in Tennessee but been raised in Alabama. So we've now got our legal permits to hold this possum so that we're going to be able to continue to do this legendary event that WQSB started. So they kind of, we're assisting, working along with them to do this. We're very excited about it. We've got a big day planned February the 2nd. Got a lot of talent coming in. We're going to be doing it a little hillbilly style. So we've got our ham boning. We've got some spoon playing. We've got buck dancing going to be going on. We got some bluegrass. We got the Beverly Hillbillies coming in. We're going to be crowning the Possum Queen. So it's going to be a real eventful day. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're not looking for fun or entertainment, you don't need to come to this place because it's going to be ready, set, go that day. Looks like weather-wise, maybe spitting a little snow, rain. Nobody knows weather no more than you do, Fred. But that's all part of this weather predicting possum, and it just kind of sets that pace. So even if it's cold, it's snowing, whatever, we got to look at this thing like if you lived in Wisconsin, you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you're not going to sit at home and watch the game on TV. You're going to be out there in the midst of the storm and watch it. So
that's right.
That's what we're doing.
Now they do it really, really, really early in the morning, but you've made some accommodations for folks who may want to come out so that Sam kind of holds this prediction until the local folks and folks from really all over Alabama can come out and see Sam's actual prediction. Talk about when people need to come out to Bama Bucks in Sardis City.
Okay, we're going to start up around 7 o'clock that morning with the pre-ceremony activities, and we'll have all these events going on. We got some really good talent that's going to be here. We're going to be furnishing free coffee, drinks, donuts going to be passed out right after the ceremony, and the main event is going to start up at about 7:45 when we do the Sand Mountain Sam event. Okay. And then we're going to open the restaurant up immediately behind that. So you can come in if you want to get in out of the cold. We'll have a fire going inside, and we'll be serving breakfast. We're not really a breakfast restaurant, but we're doing it for this occasion. Okay. Well, now, Sam, my last question for you, Terry, and then I'll let you and Sam get back in where it's warm. But has Sam given you any sort of hint as to what kind of weather we may be looking at on February 2nd, Groundhog Day, or does Sam hold that pretty close to the vest? I don't know. I think he's bottling it up inside and keeping it to himself right now. I don't think he wants to let out anything early to us, but he seemed like he was a little cold this morning. He's kind of shivering, so hopefully by that bad weather day that may be coming up is a good thing for all of us, because maybe he's not going to see a shadow. And of course, that means spring would be right around the corner, and that's what we're looking for.
Well, Terry, you promised to keep us updated now on the official prediction from Sand Mountain Sam up there at Bama Bucks. We'll look for an update on Groundhog Day.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. There he is, Terry Turks and Sand Mountain Sam, getting ready for Groundhog Day, the most important weather extra day of the year.
Oh my gosh. If Sam is up for adoption, I'd love to take her home with me. Also, Tania and I would love to have another female meteorologist on the weather team. So I think Sam might just make the cut. Coming up in Weather Extra, we have some cool stories to show you. We've got an update on the January rainfall totals. Unfortunately, there has been an ice storm moving through Texas. But for us, that means more wet weather. We do have some hope in the forecast, though. First Alert Weather Extra will be right back.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your First Alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
First Alert, we are tracking
In times like this,
We now have a tornado warning that's active.
having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone,
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
that means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert weather team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy, starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are, and getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day, Alabama.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Of course, we have been so focused this past January on how wet the weather has been, and it looks like February, especially for Groundhog's Day tomorrow, going to be no exception to that January rule. We check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel for a look back at that wet January.
We've had a lot of rain over the past month. Of course, we're starting February out, and unfortunately, we're going to see even more rain as we go into tomorrow. But I want to show you where we should be when it comes to rainfall totals for Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and Anniston for the month of January. Normally, we'll average about 5 inches of rainfall, and right below those totals, you can see the actual rainfall recorded for this past month. Over 8 inches of rain in Birmingham. In Tuscaloosa, we picked up over 7 inches of rain and over 7.5 inches of rain in Anniston. So how wet was January for these cities? So for Birmingham, I did a bunch of stats, looked it up with climate, and based off records, this past January was the 13th wettest January on record for the city of Birmingham. You can see the top 5. Number 1 was in 1937 with over 13 inches of rainfall. Number 2, about 11 inches back in 1949, and a little over 10 inches was number 3, set back in 1936. What about Tuscaloosa? It looks like you had your 12th wettest January on record with over 7 inches of rainfall. The number 1 year for the most rainfall for that month, over 11 inches back in 1999, and for number 2, 1979, of over 10 inches of rain. And then finally for Anniston, you ended up in the top 10. You ended up with the 9th wettest January on record with over 7.5 inches of rain. The number one, 1972, of over 12.5 inches of rainfall. Number two, a little bit lower than that, about 10 inches and 3/4, set back in 1946. So definitely saw above average rainfall for January, and it looks like we're going to start out February maybe another inch or two as we go into Groundhog Day into early Friday morning. So be ready for it. We'll see what February shapes out. Of course, February can also trend pretty wet. Winter and spring months are usually some of our wettest months of the year.
Right now, we are taking a look, not too far, but we're definitely going to take a look slightly over to the west of us. We're going to look at Texas because a savage winter storm blamed for at least 2 deaths in Texas is hammering several states with more ice, sleet, and treacherous road conditions. This is as power crews work to answer the call for thousands left without electricity. Chris Wynn has the latest.
Across the south and central U.S., an icy storm is wreaking havoc on drivers, leaving some scrambling for safety.
I'm just trying to maintain distance, stay away from everyone, and let them entertain me. I watch them slide into the Jersey walls and each other.
On this Dallas highway, semi-trucks inch ahead, spinning their wheels on new ice atop Tuesday's refrozen slush. That's if they can move at all. A local off-road club brought Jeeps, tow hooks, and horsepower to help keep things rolling.
My dad's a trucker, and I feel for them, and I know I want to do everything I can to help them out.
Cranes were needed to recover this tractor trailer after it skated off an elevated roadway near the town of Van. And in Oklahoma, terrifying moments captured by the dash cam of a sheriff's deputy. This semi sliding into the cable barriers of Interstate 40 in Sequoia County. The driver, thankfully not hurt. Winter storm warnings and advisories stretch from western Tennessee to central Oklahoma and southern New Mexico, with Texas taking the brunt of this polar punch. Statewide, more than 250,000 homes and businesses are in the dark, according to PowerOutage.us, and in many cases also without heat. Higher temperatures not expected until mid-morning Thursday as the storm continues to grip the region. I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Well, I can say the one thing that I love about that is how the community is really coming together. But a very close call caught on camera as a Hawaii woman was feet from the destructive path of a rolling boulder as she was in her living room. Jeremy Roth has the video. Take a look.
Shocking video from Hawaii shows a huge boulder crashing through a living room mere feet from the homeowner. Carolyn Sasaki says she didn't even see the giant rock as it rolled right in front of her.
And apparently the boulder passed right in front of me, which I didn't know. I didn't see it. All I heard was the boom and then somebody asking me if I was okay.
Sasaki and her husband had just moved into their home when it happened. The massive boulder smashed through their fence, grazed their car, and plowed through the home. City engineers were on the scene soon thereafter, inspecting the hilly area, which is adorned with similar huge boulders. The family now waits for answers on a shocking surprise that was way too close for comfort. Speaking of rocks, take a look at this Martian rock formation. What do you see? Wait for it. Folks are saying they see the face of a bear, thanks to this high-res image captured by a reconnaissance orbiter above the red planet. Whether it's a teddy bear or a real bear is in the eye of the bear holder. But what we're actually seeing is a circular surface fracture with craters and a V-shaped collapsed structure. But I suppose if you squint hard, you could see a grizzly friend, but only just barely. Okay, moving on. It's hard not to see the faces in these amazing icy creations that headlined the annual International Snow Sculpture Championships in Colorado. Folks flocked to gawk at the frosty artistry on display from teams the world over, but in the end, it was Team Germany-Bavaria that won for their gravity-defying floating ice cube sculpture. Cool. Very, very cool. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Are you noticing mold or discoloration in your shower? Or maybe you just want to replace that old bathtub with something more modern and luxurious? Well, either way, we've got you covered. Hey everybody, I'm joined by BJ Worzen, owner of West Shore Home, to talk a little shower and bath remodeling and how West Shore is making the entire process from start to finish fast and easy. BJ.
Thanks, Joe. At West Shore Home, we understand the headaches and stress a remodeling project can cause. That's why everything that we do is designed to make it stress-free for our customers.
A lot of people don't think of remodeling as stress-free, especially bath remodeling. So how are you making a complicated process easier?
Everything in our process can be done from the comfort of your own home. Give us a call and we'll send one of our bath experts out that has a time that's most convenient for you. And when it comes time for that installation, we're going to send one of our employee installers out and complete that project in as little as 1 day.
So no running out to big box stores and comparing samples and colors and then maybe waiting months for the installation. You're saying this is an all-inclusive process, making it really fast and easy for customers. That's great. Now, BJ, I understand you have a flash sale going on right now. Tell us about that.
That's right, Joe. Right now, anyone that gives us a call, we're going to do free installation on all shower and bath remodeling projects. On top of that, we're going to be doing 12 months, no interest, no payment financing. That means you can get that bath project done right now and you don't have to make any payments or pay any interest until 2024.
Free installation, that's a great offer. Well, let's see some projects you've done recently.
Absolutely, let's take a look. Here, we were able to completely remove an outdated shower and bath and install something that matched the rest of their bathroom. That low step feature is going to make getting in and out of that shower really easy. And the sleek matte black hardware looks amazing. Here's a few more. All of these were installed in 1 day, and just a reminder, for a limited time, anyone that calls will get free installation on their shower and bath project.
BJ, thanks so much. Folks, call West Shore Home now for this limited time offer. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects. Plus, for limited time, BJ is doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. Get your shower project now and don't worry about making a single payment until 2024. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt here with a look at AccuTrack radar and the rain. Here it comes. A lot of wet weather in here. Winston and Marion, Coleman counties. We're watching these areas close. Temperatures are staying above freezing, but it could get close there across northwest Alabama if you're traveling towards places like Colbert, Limestone, Lauderdale counties. Watch it there late tonight into the early morning. Some of those bridges, overpasses, those are always the first areas where we can have trouble spots. It's going to be wet regardless. Some wet roads out there tonight, so you'll certainly want to take it extra easy out there during the overnight hours. Take it slow. A lot of rain coming to the south here. Wet weather's a bit more isolated, but this will all fill in with time during the overnight. Here's a wider picture to show you where the big time icy issues are happening. Look at this. Still freezing rain happening around Memphis, and all this moisture back in here is going to be lifting into this cold air. The moisture is overrunning the cold air, so as it falls into that shallow layer of cold air, you end up with freezing rain. Falls as rain, freezes on contact, so freezes on everything, and the weight of that brings down power lines, tree limbs. We're seeing some of the more significant ice accumulations back into parts of Texas, is where we're seeing a lot of those power outages happening there across parts of East Texas, back in places south of Dallas. But looking at the Super 7-day forecast, it's all wet weather for us and through Groundhog Day. You can see the latest forecast data. This is from the HRRR High Resolution Rapid Refresh model, and through the overnight, those showers increasing in coverage, but notice not a huge change in temperatures. Model data still wants to show 42 here around Anniston tomorrow morning. The temperatures again staying in the 40s for a lot of areas throughout the day. A cold rain, so we're in a rather stable air mass, but with this kind of setup, even aloft, you can have a little bit of instability, so it wouldn't shock me if we had what we call elevated storms that may try to develop during the day tomorrow. All that moisture overrunning this cold air certainly could have some rumbles in the afternoon, and the rain is going to pick up in intensity. That's what you're looking at right here. As you can see, some heavier rain that's going to be falling. That's when we'll need to watch out. Creeks, streams, rivers, as all this moves through, a good soaking, another 1-2 inches of rain in a lot of spots. We could have some trouble spots, especially with respect to river flooding perhaps as this moves on through. So watching for that tomorrow night and into Friday. This all moves out of here. By the time the sun rises Friday morning, the rain should be out in most locations. Will clear out, and that dry weather coming back just in time for the weekend. Next week, Tuesday into Wednesday, you can see there the rain coming back. So yesterday it didn't look too impressive, but today, looking at the guidance, I was looking at some of the American model data, the European model data, some of the long-range guidance, and it is starting to trend a little bit wetter. Given this active pattern, it is certainly a good possibility around next Wednesday we could see an increased chance of rain. But as we go even beyond that 7-day forecast, I want to head over right now to meteorologist Lauren Linehan standing by. And Lauren, yesterday I was hopeful we might get through at least the middle of the week on a dry note, but now it looks like we even warm up with more showers.
Yeah, Wes, it doesn't look like this wet pattern is going to change much as we get into February. But as we look at that rainfall outlook 8 to 14 days from now, it's not just us here in Alabama, but a good portion of the U.S. could be seeing above average rainfall. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a deluge every day, but we could get to the end of February and potentially see a surplus of rainfall this month. That's well beyond the 7-day. But let's look at the interim here. So here we are next Thursday, February 9th, showing another system gradually coming towards Alabama. Look at these temperatures too. Here we are next Thursday at 4 p.m., possibly in the 60s, if not 70s in some spots. And then by next Friday, leading up to Super Bowl weekend, showing another rainmaker coming through. Of course, anytime we have those warm temperatures and the potential for some rain in the forecast, we have to look. Could there be anything in the way of storms or severe threat? Way too soon to look into that, but just giving you a heads up that with a more active pattern, we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Here we are on Super Bowl Sunday. It looks like another cool down in the forecast, but rain should be staying outside of our area. At least that's the way it looks for now. And then another dip in the jet stream would be bringing some colder air for any of your watch parties on Sunday night. Monday the 13th, leading up to Valentine's Day, looking dry with some clouds, chilly pattern around for Valentine's Day. It looks like we're going to be on the chilly side with possibly some rain or storm system coming in as we get into the following morning, Wednesday the 15th. And then potentially seeing another cool down, if not some more wet weather in the forecast. So this cold, wet pattern could still be with us at times, but it does look like beyond the 7-day, 8 to 14 days from now, generally, a lot of us could be seeing a trend towards above average temperatures. It's like, okay, what does that mean? Some hints of spring in the forecast? Well, check it out. As we've been showing you, next Tuesday and Wednesday, potentially getting into the 60s, if not close to 70, and that trend should at least carry into the Saturday before Super Bowl Sunday, and then maybe seeing a cool down going past that into Valentine's Day. Now, as far as those colder temperatures, maybe seeing some freezing temperatures back as we get into Super Bowl Sunday and leading into Valentine's Day. Otherwise, tracking that warm up for next week still feels kind of crummy right now. We'll take a check on that final forecast coming up after the break.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your first alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
First Alert, we are tracking
In times like this,
we now have a tornado warning that's active.
having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone,
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
that means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert Weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy, starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are. And getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day Alabama.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan with a last look at that super 7-day forecast. Tomorrow is Groundhog's Day. We'll see what Punxsutawney Phil has to say. Of course, we're the weather experts around here, but we don't mind a few meteorologically savvy rodents getting in on it. Now, for tomorrow, here's the thing. We can tell you this, it's going to be rainy. We are going to be seeing that wet weather coming back in as we get into tomorrow, and we're already seeing that potential for some rain as we get into tonight. tonight as well. But in the meantime, we will keep you updated on that 7-day forecast tonight coming up on First at 9. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Wednesday evening.